several hours. We have several hours of continuing dispatch education throughout the year. We have a lot of specialty training going on. We do train our dispatchers in CIT, crisis intervention training for 911. And again, just several hours of in-service or continuing dispatch education. We are one of the highest trained and most professional organization that you will find in the state of Georgia. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a little biased. It is completely true. As a matter of fact, part of the National Dispatch Conference I am at right now, we have a vendor booth because we are considered an exemplary center in the 911 industry. And so we have several agencies that come to us in Cobb County to learn a lot about our training process, about the standards that we hold, about our policies, et cetera, and just our best practices in the 911 center. We also have a very robust peer support program and health and wellness committee and program, which is very lacking in 911. And I'm sure there's going to be more to discuss on that when the panel is speaking. So we hold ourselves to extremely high professional standards. We have a tremendous amount of respect and a very great relationship and collaborative relationship with our public safety partners. We do try and meet with our public safety partners quite frequently. So we're in constant communication, but also we do everything that we can to support our public safety partners. For instance, I know that we meet quite frequently and have discussions with the Cobb Cares and Cobb Path program, and just how we can improve in our response. And also we partner with our police and fire peer support programs to make sure that our responders are also taken care of during a critical incident, and also just in general peer support. So we're really proud of that partnership. And again, supporting what we can of our partners with for instance, the technology in the Real-Time Crime Center and all that. So I guess what I'm saying is you will not find a better 911 trained staff probably anywhere in the Southeast region. Okay, so just real quick on some calls received. Caller in a crisis I talked about our EPD and EMD program. I wanted to just throw out some quick stats. First party callers in crisis since January 1st, 2024. And these stats were calculated approximately 2 weeks ago. So figured to date 2 weeks ago. We received approximately 173 calls for what we had considered a mental disorder or some type of behavioral problem. We've received approximately 119 calls for suicidal threats or attempted suicide. And that was on the EPD portion of our protocols. But on the medical side, we've received approximately 88 calls for service for psychiatric or some type of mental health condition, or if there was an actual suicide attempt, or just some general abnormal behavior that is reported by a caller. I just want to talk real quick about our workflow and how we work with our partners, and essentially how a call may get to 988. We initially take that call, and again, we triage it. We ask specific questions, always the basic information, your location, name, phone number, tell me exactly what happened. And then we determine what exactly is going on by the information that's provided to us. And then we will check in with one of these three protocols, whichever best suits the situation that's going on. And again, this is very specific training and certification that we have on these protocols. And so we're asking very specific questions on each of these protocols to basically assist this caller in crisis and getting him or her the best response possible. We enter the call for a dispatch while we're still on the phone with the caller. I know that sometimes the stereotype is we're asking so many questions, why don't we just get somebody there? It doesn't quite work that way in Cobb County. We have designated call takers, we have designated dispatchers. So while we are still on the phone with the caller, somebody else is dispatching that call. How the information gets to Cobb Cares and Cobb's Path program or responders rather, a lot of times they will, we can contact them certainly and say, we have a situation where there's a individual in some type of crisis and respond, most of the time they do self-dispatch, meaning that they're out there, they're hearing the call, and they're responding to assist our responders. Now, for safety reasons, I need everybody to understand that we will always have to dispatch our responders. But again, in Cobb County, the way we work and how our training works and just how professional this organization is across all of public safety, our responders are, we feel like, I can't speak to their training exactly, that would have to be, police and fire, but our responders work so collaboratively together that they're not just going to respond into a call without having all the information, first of all, without ensuring the safety of our community, and also perhaps not without some type of support. Now, I don't want to speak out of turn here, but I guess what I'm trying to say is our Cares and Path program, our Cares and Path responders are so well trained, in our opinion. I'm sure that they're there in the room listening to this and being like, yay. But they are, and we just have the utmost confidence that they're going to respond and assist with this caller in crisis. While we are still on the phone with the individual oftentimes and trying to talk them through their crisis, negotiate through their crisis, that's just what we are trained to do. I only have like 15 minutes, so if anybody has any questions, Irene, are we able to answer any questions? Otherwise I'm just going to keep going. We have, I know this is a pretty big and busy slide, but I wanted to give you all the opportunity to take a picture of it if you'd like. If anybody needs this handout, I can certainly email it to them. Or we can simply make copies and get it to you however you wish. But we did create this handout for educational purposes. So giving you all the basic overview of what it is that we do and how a call gets to our responders. In the same sense, if we feel like the caller needs the suicide and crisis lifeline, we will certainly conference them into 988. Our communications officers are certainly well trained and well versed enough in when to appropriately conference in a call to 988. But understand still that we have to, for liability purposes and safety purposes, we still have to notify our responders. So basically, what is 911, right? 911, you need immediate police, fire, medical assistance. The best thing to do is to call 911. We do have texting available, but our motto is call when you can, text if you can't. Okay. We would prefer a voice call because we get voice inflection and we can listen to anything going on in the background. And also, we just process the call faster on a voice call. When do we call 911? When should the public call 911? If someone has harmed themselves, absolutely call 911. If there's a medical emergency, the individual is unconscious, not breathing, if someone is bleeding heavily, or if there's a serious injury, any type of medical situation, if somebody is actively hallucinating or abnormal behavior that we just possibly believe is in some type of mental crisis, absolutely call 911 if they're exhibiting any other type of violent or threatening behavior towards themselves or others. We want you to call 911. It's a safety concern, and we will certainly send our responders out. Again, what to expect when you call 911? We have the specific protocol that we're going to ask. And again, that includes the location, phone number, your name, and what exactly is going on, the details, and then we're going to send our responders out to include our Cares and Path responders. I'm going to let Dawn speak mostly on when to call 988 because that's basically her subject matter expert. And I know she's got a whole fabulous slideshow for you. But our motto is when in doubt, send them out. So that is basically our overview of 911. I can certainly answer any questions. I know that seemed rather simple, but it's simple but very complex. When we receive the call, we take all the information, we triage it, we provide some specific instructions. At the same time, our dispatchers are dispatching the call. We're highly trained in dealing with a caller in crisis, and certainly have everything that we feel like we need at our fingertips to serve the community in the best possible way, for any type of call, but specifically for an individual who's in a mental or behavioral crisis. That was my 15 minutes of fame. Does anybody have any questions? Because I can't hear anything.
Thank you so much, Melissa. You should be able to hear me now.
Okay, I can.
Great. We are a little bit ahead. Do we want to hold questions for the end, or do you want to take some questions now?
It's completely up to you. I am throwing my contact information up on the screen. I can take questions now, or I can sign off and let my team handling it. They are way more in the trenches than I am these days. So, and
We'll take.
they're from our training and quality assurance division. So they're the ones who are training everybody on how to deal with a mental crisis. So whichever, I'm here, I'm
Okay,
available.
awesome. Well, we will go ahead if there's like one or two questions that the audience wants to ask now, and then we'll have more time at the panel, like Melissa said.
Okay, great.
Anybody? Yep. So I believe the question is, and just correct me, is you provided some information about the training, but specifically what is provided related to domestic violence calls?
Okay, great question. We in these specific protocol certification classes that we provide, we do have a focus on domestic violence as well. The protocol card that we use for domestic violence is very, very detailed, not just with questions and specific instructions that we should provide, but also just some general specific information for our emergency communications officers regarding domestic situations. We also do try and provide additional training classes for our employees on domestic violence, some specialty training. We have a strong partnership with the Family Advocacy Center. We recently took several of our team members out there for a tour, and I know we're getting ready to set up another one. So we also ensure that they are very familiar with the resources that we have out here in the county. So I'm pretty confident in these protocol certification classes and the continuing education that we provide, that we're covering every situation to include domestic violence. I believe it was last year, actually we're in August, gosh, this months are just getting away from me. It was earlier this year in April that we did have some specialty training provided for all of our communications officers. It was a mandated training class, and it was specifically on domestic violence. We had somebody coming in and sharing their story about their experience with domestic violence and what it is that we can do as communications officers to support and provide safety for those type of calls.
Great. Thank you, Melissa. We have one more question.
Okay.
This question was, what languages do you offer translation services in?
Everything. So we in 911, and I can speak also on behalf of the 911 industry, you will not find a 911 center out there that doesn't have connection with a language, some type of language translation service. For us, it is a one button transfer, or we don't transfer, like we don't end the call, we conference them in, and we get the language interpreter on the phone that we need. And they are literally translating the information, the questions that we're asking, and the instructions that we're providing. Some exciting news, new technology that we have just acquired that we will be implementing here in likely the next 6 to 8 months, God willing, fingers crossed. Will provide language translation services directly over the phone. So for instance, and we're really excited about this technology, and we'll push out a lot of education on this. So number one, we are connected with the language translation service, and who does provide us with every possible language translation you can imagine. Number two, the technology we're about to implement does it directly through the 911 phone system. So for instance, if I when if I say, okay, tell me exactly what happened, or I answer the phone, Cobb County 911, what's the address of your emergency? And somebody starts speaking to me in another language, we'll just say Spanish is our most common foreign language speaker that we get. And the phone system will automatically translate that to me, the call taker, and I'll hear that, but I'll also see under in our transcription service on the new 911 phone system that it is a language barrier, right? That they are that it's actually translating the language. When I speak in return and I say, what's your name? Or, okay, tell me exactly what happened, the phone system actually translates that into the appropriate language that they're speaking. It is so incredible, so innovative, and we're really excited. And it's just going to, once again, it's going to increase the process, like the time, or shorten the time. It's going to allow us to process the calls faster, in short.
Awesome. Thank you, Melissa. Well, we really appreciate you being here today, virtually and
Thank you.
joining us and giving this presentation. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And I hope you
Have a
can hear
great
the
day.
applause. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Take
And
care,
we're going to
everybody.
go ahead. Oh, thank you. Ooh, I hit the wrong button. Okay. Thank you, Melissa.
Bye-bye.